time, although we are the first givers of life towards not only the earth, but also throughout the entire universe. So in 1926, that information was not out. So Carter G. Woodson called it Negro History Week to give some form of historical reference to African people in America and throughout the world, to talk about the contributions that we have made as African people in America and throughout the world. Then in 1976, they made legislation in America, the president of that time, Lyndon Baines Johnson, and expanded Negro History Week into Black History Month. So we went from Negro to Black, and now we are called African American in America. These terms that we call ourselves, African American or Negro or colored or Black, are not based in biological reference. They are not based upon chemistry or biology or dealing with the genetic coding of the human being. These are sociological terms because there's no such thing called race, because race is not based in biology or chemistry. Race is a sociological term in order to divide the human family, to make us believe that all of us are different, but there's only one race called the human race. So when you look at the word human, you're looking at hu, then men. Hu means color and man. So you're talking about colored man. The colored man and the colored woman gave birth to all of the other so-called races that exist on the planet Earth, because you get black, brown, red, yellow, then you get what is called white. Although there's no such thing called white people, because I haven't seen nobody who looks like this a day in my life. You know, my friend in the back, Emily, she's not white, she's pale or peach. The peach people. The pale people. So she's not white. So these sociological terms is to divide the human family, that have us in conflict with one another, but the 1% of the entire controllers of the raw mineral resources of the planet Earth does not perceive themselves as being black or white. They are perceiving themselves as being the controllers of the world. So when we talk about this conflict of the human family, and we look at the origins of humanity, you're looking at the origins of humanity, you don't go into Europe, you don't go into Asia, you don't go into North America or South America. You got to go into Africa in the southern region, where you call them the sun people, the first kisses of the sun. And when you start to look at this, you look at a man by the name of Dr. Louis B. Leakey. He didn't go to Europe for too long because he couldn't find no fossils there. He didn't go to Asia. He couldn't find no fossils there. So he went into Africa, in the southern region. He found the origins of humanity was founded 3.2 million years ago from the African woman, the black woman, the African woman in the southern region. They call her Dagnish or Lucy. The origins of humanity is in Africa, but the world got us believing that we are niggas, that we are coons, that we are buffoons, but we are dissing the very people who gave civilization to the entire universe, because they are lying to us, making us believe that we are killers and murderers and we are thugs, and that Africans are different from African Americans, and African Americans are different from Afro-Caribbeans, but you don't tell us, you don't allow yourself to be called where you are born to. You must allow yourself to be called where you was taken from, which is the motherland, which is called Africa. So this conflict that we having, where we have the Black Organization of Students, Organization of African Students, you have the Haitian American students, and you have the Caribbean Student Association at Essex County College. You have all of this conflict, but all of us are rooted in the very origins of humanity, which is dated back into Africa. And this book right here, called Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James, he talks about Greek philosophy and stolen Egyptian philosophy. The Greeks and the Romans both studied in Africa. What has happened is that when Africans was in Africa teaching the world about philosophy, or teaching the world about civilization and about mathematics, music, morality, and dealing with architectural designing, the world was in darkness. The world was not engaged in civilization creation. It was African people in Northeast Africa, what is now called Egypt. And that is only a British term coming from a word called Egyptos, which means land of the dark-skinned people. And these individuals who was teaching this philosophy, you had to study for 33 and the third years, my Eastern Star sisters and my brothers and sisters who want to travel to the East, those who looking at themselves as being Masons, and as quiet as kept, I study a little bit of that as well. And if anybody in here is a Christian, anybody here a Christian? Jesus Christ was a master. He was a master Mason. How do you think he walked on water? How do you think he turned water into wine? Because he knew about the alchemical properties of how to transform energy, how to change energy from the etheric form into energy into the material form. How did he feed people with just 5 loaves of bread and just a little bit of fish, because he was a master mason? So in this book right here, Soul and Legacy, it talks about how African people created all of the 7 wonders of the world. We created the pyramids. We created architectural design, and we created art. And all these architectural designs that you see all over the world. In Mexico, where you have pyramids in Mexico, you have pyramids in South America, because before we was enslaved, Africans from Africa was traveling all over the world. Why is I'm saying all this? The reason why I'm saying all this, because a lot of us don't understand